Listen to me very carefully, because what you are about to hear is not motivational entertainment. This is a warning that could save you from humiliation, heartbreak, and the most dangerous trap older men fall into without even realizing it. Most older men think younger women are attracted to money, lifestyle, and status. They believe if they provide comfort, they will automatically earn respect. But what if I told you the moment you think you've impressed her, she has already started testing you? And the worst part is you won't even notice it happening because younger women don't test older men with obvious questions. They don't ask, how much do you earn? They don't ask, how powerful are you? No, they ask two simple questions that sound innocent, but these two questions are designed to expose your confidence, your emotional stability, and the truth about your masculinity. And here's what will shock you. Most men fail instantly, not because they're weak men, but because they answer like insecure boys trying to prove themselves. They start explaining too much. They start defending themselves. They start performing. And in that moment, she silently loses respect. But if you understand what those two questions really mean, you will never be manipulated again. You will never chase validation again. You will never feel nervous in front of a younger woman again. Instead, you will develop a calm authority that makes her look at you differently, not as an option, but as a man she cannot ignore. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal the two questions younger women use to test older men. And more importantly, I'll show you how to answer them in a way that instantly separates you from every average man she has ever met. This might be the most important video you watch this year. Let's start by understanding something most men completely miss. Younger women don't test older men the way most people think. It's not about flashy cars, money in the bank, or how many people notice you when you walk into a room. That's the surface, the obvious, and the easy to fake. No, what they test is far deeper. It's subtle, quiet, and almost invisible unless you are truly paying attention. They are testing the core of who you are, your character, your stability, your depth. They are looking for something far more valuable than status. They are looking for authenticity. Think about it. A younger woman has lived in a world flooded with illusions. She has seen men try to impress with hollow gestures, empty words, and fleeting charm. She knows that the world will give anyone a stage, but very few can command it with substance. So she doesn't need to see your bank account. She doesn't need to see how many people recognize your name. She needs to know, can this man stand firm when life challenges him? Can he navigate the pressures of the world without losing himself? Can he think clearly, act wisely, and speak honestly? Even when no one is watching, that is what she is really testing. The first question she asks, the one that seems simple and casual, is actually a carefully chosen mirror. It's designed to reflect who you truly are. You might hear it and think, oh, that's just a normal question. She's just curious. But that's exactly the trap most men fall into. They underestimate it. She is watching your reaction. She is noticing your hesitation, your tone, the way your mind works under pressure. Does your confidence come from truth or from pretense? Does your charm mask insecurity, or does it reveal wisdom? These are the unspoken codes she reads in silence. She is a detective of human nature, and every word, every pause, every glance counts. Many men fail this test not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack self-awareness. They try to perform, to act, to show something they are not. They tell a story that they think she wants to hear, hoping it will impress her, and in doing so, they reveal the opposite of what they intend. She can sense authenticity in an instant, and she can sense weakness just as quickly. This isn't manipulation on her part. it's perception, it's life experience, it's the way the human mind has evolved to detect what is real and what is false. And if you miss it, if you respond without presence, without honesty, you fail before you even realize the test began. Understanding this changes everything. You start to see that the questions themselves are not obstacles, they are opportunities, an opportunity to show her who you really are, to demonstrate that your life is guided not by fear or pretense, but by principle and clarity. When you respond with calm, with insight, with integrity, it does something remarkable. It signals to her that you are someone who cannot be manipulated, someone who cannot be shaken by superficiality. It communicates strength, not through power or wealth, but through presence and wisdom. That is magnetic in a way that money and status never could be. And here is the truth most men overlook. This testing is not limited to romantic interest. It reflects a deeper human principle. Life, in every form, tests those who wish to move forward. It tests your patience, your clarity, your ability to see beyond illusion. Younger women, in this sense, are like a condensed version of life's tests. They ask the questions that matter most, the ones that expose whether you have substance beneath your surface. If you can answer these, you learn not only how to relate to her, but how to relate to the world. You learn how to stand firm under scrutiny, how to remain grounded when others try to pull you into deception, how to act with integrity even when it is uncomfortable. Most men, however, never see this. They view the interaction as a game, a challenge of charm, a test of ability to impress. And because of that, they respond with the wrong energy. They overcompensate, they overthink, they try to perform instead of reflect. And in doing so, they reveal weakness, not strength. They reveal that they are more concerned with image than with essence, more focused on appearing impressive than being reliable. That is why so many relationships fail before they even begin, why so many men feel frustrated and confused, and why so many younger women move on to someone who can meet them on that deeper level. But here is the critical insight. You don't have to be one of those men. You can learn to see the questions for what they really are. You can learn to pause, to breathe, to respond from the place within you that is steady, intelligent, and aligned with truth. When you do that, something extraordinary happens. You stop being predictable. You stop being ordinary. You start to carry a quiet authority that cannot be faked. You start to communicate something far more powerful than words, a presence, a depth, a reliability that is unmistakable. And that presence, that clarity is exactly what younger women and indeed the world respects above all else. So as you think about this, remember, the test is not designed to trap you. It is designed to reveal you. Every pause, every glance, every subtle question is an opportunity to show that you are not a man defined by circumstance, by pretense, by shallow goals, but by strength, by clarity, by integrity. And when you respond from that place, when you meet the test without fear, without pretense, without ego, you become someone unforgettable. You become someone whose presence commands respect, whose words carry weight, and whose life demonstrates that authenticity is more valuable than any illusion of success. So here's the final thought I want you to leave with. Younger women test older men not because they want to manipulate or play games, but because they instinctively recognize who can carry themselves with truth. The test is not a challenge to defeat. It is a mirror reflecting your strength, your clarity, and your essence. Stand tall, be present, and answer with authenticity. That is how you pass not just the test, but life itself. The second question younger women ask is far more revealing than the first. while the first question shows them who you are at your core. This second question uncovers something even deeper. It exposes your ability to hold yourself with discipline, clarity, and principle when the world is quietly, or sometimes not so quietly, challenging you. Most men think that charm, wealth, or status will carry them through any test. But this is where they are most vulnerable, because the second question doesn't appeal to ego. It doesn't care about the flashy accomplishments you have accumulated or the stories you tell to impress. It is not interested in what you have built on the outside. It is only interested in what you hold inside. When a younger woman asks this question, it may seem innocuous. She may phrase it casually, with a tone that feels almost conversational, but this is an illusion. Beneath the surface, she is measuring your capacity to stay anchored, to remain true to your values, and to respond without defensiveness. She wants to know if you are a man who can maintain control over your life and your choices, even when circumstances push against you. It is a test of resilience, of mental clarity, and of emotional maturity. The man who answers it thoughtfully, calmly, and authentically demonstrates that he is someone who can handle life, not just the performance of it. Most men, however, react instinctively. They panic, they overthink, or they try to perform again. This time, even harder. They think they must give the right answer or show off knowledge or wit. And in that moment, they reveal weakness, because strength does not come from performing or convincing others of your greatness. Strength comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and being unwavering in the face of scrutiny. This question strips away bravado, and it strips away illusion. It exposes whether you can be trusted not to bend under pressure, not to compromise your integrity, and not to lose your essence when challenged. There is a philosophical depth to this that many men overlook. Life itself is full of tests, small ones, large ones, quiet ones, and dramatic ones. Every day, circumstances push against your patience, your focus, and your values. The second question is a condensed version of life's challenges. It asks, can you remain steady when the world demands you conform to expectations? When people question your choices, when circumstances are uncertain, it is a measure of your self-mastery. And younger women, whether consciously or unconsciously, recognize the importance of this trait. It signals that you are not just a man who reacts to life. You are a man who shapes it, who responds with clarity and integrity, who commands respect not because of what you say, but because of who you are. When you answer this question with calm, thoughtfulness, and presence, you reveal something remarkable. You reveal that you are a man who understands the weight of responsibility, who has cultivated discipline in thought and action, and who is not easily swayed by the opinions or manipulations of others. You show that your confidence is not superficial, not performative, but rooted in self-awareness and a deep understanding of reality. And that is a quality that cannot be faked. It cannot be bought. It cannot be earned through charm or flattery. It is built through life experience, reflection, and a commitment to becoming a man of substance. Consider this. Most men fail because they see every interaction as a competition to impress rather than an opportunity to reveal their essence. They forget that the second question is not about proving themselves. It is about demonstrating stability, integrity, and depth. A younger woman may ask about your vision, your values, or your decisions. She may ask about something you have accomplished or something you have failed at, but the content of your answer matters far less than the presence, honesty, and steadiness behind it. If you respond with impatience, defensiveness, or insecurity, you fail. If you respond with thoughtfulness, calm, and integrity, you pass. And passing this test creates something far more powerful than immediate attraction. It creates respect. It signals that you are someone whose life is governed by principles rather than circumstance, someone who is anchored internally rather than tossed around by external pressures. There is also a ecological element here that is worth noticing. Humans are wired to detect authenticity, even in subtle ways. The second question is a mechanism through which younger women can see past superficial appearances. They are not interested in rehearsed answers. They are not interested in clever lines. They are seeking alignment between your words and your being. They can sense it in your tone, your posture, your calmness under scrutiny, and in the way your mind processes the question. In that moment, it becomes clear whether you are reactive or reflective, performative or authentic, fleeting or grounded. And here is the beauty of understanding this. When you recognize the purpose of the question, you stop being intimidated. You stop feeling the need to win or to impress. You realize that the question is not a trap, but an opportunity to demonstrate your mastery of yourself. You can respond with honesty, clarity, and composure. You can show that your life is guided by principle, not pretense. And in doing so, you do more than pass a test. You signal that you are a man of depth, a man who can navigate life's complexities with intelligence, integrity, and presence. Most men never understand this, and that is why they stumble repeatedly. They misread the test as a challenge to their ego rather than an invitation to reveal their strength. But the man who understands recognizes that true power is quiet, subtle, and consistent. It does not need to shout or demand attention. It is evident in the way he listens, the way he responds, and the way he carries himself. The second question is not just a test, it is a reflection of life itself. It is a microcosm of every situation that will demand clarity, patience, and integrity from him. And by responding correctly, he demonstrates the word that he is capable of rising to the occasion, no matter the circumstances. So as you think about this, remember the second question is not about winning a woman's approval. It is about showing the world who you are. It is about proving to yourself that you can remain grounded, disciplined, and aligned with truth, even under scrutiny. It is about demonstrating that your strength is internal, not dependent on external validation. And when you understand this, something remarkable happens. You no longer fear the question, you no longer seek to perform, and you begin to carry yourself with a quiet, undeniable authority that is felt by everyone around you. So here is the truth I want you to take with you. The second question is not a challenge to manipulate or impress. It is a mirror of your inner strength. How you answer it will define not only how a younger woman perceives you, but how the world perceives you. Stand firm, respond with clarity, and let your life demonstrate that integrity, discipline, and presence are your foundation. When you do, you become someone who is not only respected but unforgettable. You become a man whose strength cannot be measured by possessions, appearance, or charm, but by the steadiness of his character and the clarity of his mind. Now, here's where things get uncomfortable, because once you understand that younger women test older men subtly, and once you realize that these questions are designed to expose your discipline and self-mastery, you have to face the next truth. Most men fail, and they don't fail because they are bad men. They fail because they are unaware men. They fail because they still believe the world works on surface level rules. They fail because they think attraction is built on performance, not on character. And this eye, where the psychological game becomes brutal. When the younger woman asks these two questions, she is not looking for information. She is looking for emotional evidence. She is not trying to hear your words. She is trying to feel your energy. And most men don't understand that. They hear a question and instantly treat it like an interview. They try to give the correct answer. They try to sound impressive. They try to prove they are smart, powerful, experienced, successful. But the moment you try to prove yourself, you reveal insecurity. And insecurity is the loudest language a woman can hear, even when you never say it directly. This is why so many older men embarrass themselves without realizing it, because they believe their age gives them authority, but they haven't built inner stability. They believe their money gives them value, but they haven't built emotional control. They believe their experience gives them wisdom, but they haven't built self-awareness. And younger women can detect that contradiction instantly. You see, women are not attracted to the story you tell. They are attracted to the reality they feel. They are attracted to the certainty in your voice. They are attracted to the calmness in your presence. They are attracted to the way you respond when you are challenged, Because when a younger woman asks you a deep question, she's not testing your intelligence. She's testing whether you are reactive or grounded. She's testing whether you are emotionally mature or emotionally fragile. She's testing whether you are leading your life or begging life to approve of you. And most men fail because they react like boys. They rush their answer. They over-explain. They get defensive. They start justifying themselves like they are standing in court, trying to prove they are innocent. And the moment you start justifying yourself too much, you reveal something. You reveal that you are not confident in your own identity. You reveal that you need validation. You reveal that your ego is steering the conversation, not your wisdom. And let me tell you something very important. A woman can forgive a man for not being perfect, but she will never respect a man who is trying too hard to be liked. Because a man who is desperate to be liked is a man who can be controlled. That is the real fear women have. Not that you are too old, not that you are too strict, not that you are too serious. The real fear is that you are unstable, because if you are unstable emotionally, then your love is unstable. Your loyalty is unstable. Your leadership is unstable. Your promises are unstable. And when she senses that instability, she automatically pulls back. Even if she finds you attractive, even if she enjoys your company, even if she laughs at your jokes, because attraction without trust is temporary. And younger women understand this more than men realize. Now, listen carefully. Most men think the reason younger women reject them is because of looks. They think it's because they don't dress well enough. They think it's because they aren't rich enough. They think it's because they don't have enough confidence. But the truth is far more brutal. They get rejected because their confidence is fake. It's borrowed confidence. It's confidence that exists only when things go their way. It's confidence that disappears the moment a woman asks a serious question. And when she sees that, she realizes something instantly. This man is not a leader. He is a performer. And performers are entertaining, but they are not safe. That's why so many men crumble when a younger woman tests them. They start exaggerating their achievements. They start lying about their lifestyle. They start acting like they are too busy. They start pretending they have options they don't actually have. And it's embarrassing because the woman sees it immediately, not because she's psychic, but because human behavior always leaks truth. You can hide your weakness in words, but you cannot hide it in your energy. If you are insecure, your voice changes. If you are lying, your eyes shift. If you are trying too hard, your tone becomes unnatural. If you are afraid of rejection, you become overly agreeable. And the more you try to convince her, the more she becomes convinced that you are not the man you claim to be. This is why so many older men fail these tests, because they think age automatically equals wisdom. But wisdom is not about time. Wisdom is about reflection. Wisdom is about self-control. Wisdom is about knowing yourself so deeply that no question can shake you. And if a younger woman asks you something and you become defensive, she learns one thing: your ego is still fragile. If she asks you something and you try to impress her, she learns one thing: your confidence is dependent on approval. If she asks you something and you avoid answering honestly, she learns one thing: you cannot be trusted, and trust is the foundation of everything. Without it, attraction dies. Respect disappears, and even if she stays, she will never truly submit emotionally, because a woman can sense when a man is strong, but she can also sense when a man is pretending to be strong. Now, here is the part most men don't want to hear. The reason these tests exist is because women have been disappointed too many times. They have seen men who talk big but act small, men who promise but don't deliver, men who appear confident but collapse under pressure. So they test, not because they want drama, but because they want truth. And if you fail these tests, it doesn't mean you're finished. It means you have work to do, because the goal is not to impress women. The goal is to become the kind of man who doesn't need to impress anyone. The man who passes these tests is not the loudest man. He is not the richest man. He is not the most charming man. He is the calmest man. He is the clearest man. He is the most grounded man. And that is why most men fail, because grounding requires discipline, and discipline requires self-awareness, and self-awareness requires honesty. And most men would rather live in illusion than face their own weakness. But if you are watching this, it means you are not like most men. It means you are ready to become the exception, the man who doesn't crumble when questioned, the man who doesn't panic when challenged, the man who doesn't beg for validation. Because the moment you stop trying to prove yourself, you start becoming powerful. And that is the truth. So remember this: most men fail these tests because they answer with ego. But the man who wins answers with truth. And truth is the only thing that never breaks under pressure. Now let's go even deeper, because once you accept that younger women test older men, and once you understand that most men fail because they answer from ego, the next question becomes unavoidable. What happens when a man actually passes wide? What happens when a man answers those questions with calmness, with truth, with emotional control, with clarity, without needing to perform? This is where everything changes. Because when you pass these tests, you don't just impress her, you don't just attract her, you create something much more powerful than attraction. You create certainty. And certainty is rare. Most people today live in confusion. They live in insecurity. They live in anxiety, in comparison, in constant doubt about whether they are enough. So when a woman meets a man who is emotionally stable, mentally disciplined, and spiritually grounded, it shocks her system, because she's used to men who are loud but weak, men who are confident in public but insecure in private, men who talk about masculinity but crumble the moment they are questioned. So when she meets a man who stays calm under pressure, she immediately understands something: this man is different. And the reason that matters is because women don't fall in love with words. They fall in love with consistency. They fall in love with how safe a man feels emotionally. They fall in love with the stability he brings into chaos. And stability is not money. Stability is not a nice car. Stability is not a big house. Stability is not a big house. Stability is psychological. It's internal. It's the ability to remain the same man no matter what the situation demands. And this is what younger women secretly crave from older men. They don't want you because you are older. They want you because they believe you might be wiser. They believe you might be more disciplined. They believe you might be less emotional. They believe you might be more grounded. But the moment you act childish, the moment you act reactive, the moment you try too hard to impress, you destroy the entire fantasy. Because then you are not a man of wisdom. You are just an older version of the same insecure boy. So passing these tests is not about saying the perfect sentence. It is about embodying a different level of self-respect. When she asks you those questions and you answer without desperation, you communicate something powerful. You communicate that your life is already full. You communicate that your identity is not dependent on her approval. You communicate that you are not chasing her. You are simply observing her. And that energy is rare because most men approach women as if women are prizes. They approach women as if women are validation. They approach women as if winning her means they have won life. But the man who passes these tests doesn't treat her like a prize. He treats her like a person, and he treats himself like the prize, not out of arrogance, out of self-respect. And when a woman senses that, she feels something most men cannot create. She feels intrigued because confidence that doesn't beg is magnetic. Confidence that doesn't chase is powerful. Confidence that doesn't chase is powerful. Confidence that doesn't prove itself is unforgettable. The world today is built on performance. Everyone is acting. Everyone is trying to sell an image. Everyone is trying to appear valuable. Everyone is trying to look important. And social media has turned human beings into advertisements. Men don't even know who they are anymore. They know what they want to appear like. They know what they want people to think, but they don't know themselves. So when you become a man who is deeply rooted in truth, you stand out without effort. You don't need to show off. You don't need to brag. You don't need to talk about your accomplishments because your presence speaks for you. And younger women notice presence. They notice how you sit, how you listen, how you react, how you handle silence, how you handle disagreement, how you handle disrespect. And when you pass these tests, what she really sees is not your answer. She sees your nervous system. She sees whether you are emotionally regulated. She sees whether you are controlled or chaotic. She sees whether you are stable or unpredictable. And the truth is, most men are unpredictable. They act confident until they are challenged. They act strong until they are questioned. They act calm until they feel rejected. And then suddenly they become emotional. Suddenly they become defensive. Suddenly they become aggressive. Suddenly they become aggressive. And women don't trust men like that because men like that are not safe. But when you pass the test, you communicate safety, not physical safety, by psychological safety. Psychological safety of knowing that you will not punish her for honesty. The safety of knowing that you will not collapse under pressure. The safety of knowing that you are a man of principle. And this is where real attraction begins, because attraction is not built on excitement. Excitement fades. Attraction is built on respect, and respect grows. So the man who passes these tests becomes a man who is respected. And once a woman respects you, she cannot unsee it. Even if she tries to walk away, she will remember you. Even if she dates someone else, she will compare him to you. Even if she pretends she doesn't care, deep inside, she will know she met someone rare, because passing these tests signals that you are not needy, you are not desperate, you are not seeking attention. You are complete. And completeness is rare in a world full of emotional beggars. Now listen carefully, because this is the part that separates average men from powerful men. Passing these tests doesn't just attract women, it transforms you. It forces you to become disciplined. It forces you to become emotionally intelligent. It forces you to confront your insecurities. It forces you to stop living for approval. Because the man who can handle these questions is the same man who can handle life. He can handle rejection. He can handle criticism. He can handle pressure. He can handle loneliness. He can handle responsibility. That is the man who becomes unstoppable. Because life does not reward potential. Life rewards stability. Life rewards discipline. Life rewards those who can control themselves when others are losing their minds. And when you develop that level of internal strength, something powerful happens. You stop needing people. You start choosing people. You stop begging for love. You start commanding respect. You start chasing validation. You start living with purpose. And this is why these tests are blessings. They expose weak men. They expose weak men, but they build strong men. So if a younger woman asks you a question and it triggers insecurity, don't get angry at her. Don't call her manipulative. Don't call her difficult. Instead, understand the truth. She is revealing where you still lack strengths. She is showing you what you still need to master. And if you are wise, you will thank life for that mirror, because the mirror is painful, but it is honest. And honesty is what builds greatness. So remember this: the man who passes these tests does not win a woman, he wins himself. And when you win yourself, you don't just become attractive, you become unforgettable. Now, after everything we've discussed, there is one final truth that ties all of this together. And this is the truth most men will never understand. These tests are not traps. They are not games. They are not some cruel strategy to embarrass you. They are opportunities. But the reason most men don't benefit from them is because they misunderstand the purpose of the test. They think the test is meant to expose them, but in reality, the test is meant to reveal them. And there is a massive difference. When a younger woman asks an older man those two questions, she is not trying to destroy him. She is trying to understand him. She is trying to locate the truth beneath the surface. Because in a world full of deception, the ability to recognize truth becomes survival. And here's the part that might shock you. A younger woman is not testing you because she is uncertain about you. She is testing you because she is testing you because she is uncertain about herself. She is uncertain about whether she can trust her own instincts. She is uncertain about whether men are capable of emotional stability. She is uncertain about whether the world is safe enough to surrender emotionally. So she tests, not to play, but to protect, because the modern world has taught women one brutal lesson. A man can say anything, but only a few can live what they say. So the test is her way of asking you, without saying it directly, are you real? Are you consistent? Are you grounded? Are you safe? Are you mature enough to lead without controlling? Are you strong enough to handle truth without ego? And the man who understands this stops being offended. He stops being reactive. He stops taking it personally. Instead, he sees it as a doorway, and doorway to show her something rare, a man who doesn't collapse under pressure, a man who doesn't beg for approval, a man who doesn't lie to look impressive, a man who doesn't get threatened by questions, because questions don't threaten a strong man. Questions threaten only a man who has built his identity on illusion. And this is where philosophy comes in. Life is one long test. Every day is a question. Every challenge is asking you, who are you really? Every rejection is asking you, are you stable without validation? Every disappointment is asking you, can you still lead yourself when things don't go your way? And most men fail life because they treat life like a performance. They try to lure, okay, strong, instead of becoming strong. They try to look successful instead of building meaning. They try to look confident instead of developing discipline. But the man who understands these tests realizes something deeper. If you can handle a woman's questions, you can handle life's pressure. If you can stay calm when she challenges you, you can stay calm when the world challenges you. If you can answer with honesty without needing to impress, you can live with integrity without needing applause. And that is power. Real power is not loud. Real power is not arrogant. Real power is not flexing and showing off. Real power is the ability to remain yourself in any situation. And this is why these tests are blessings, because they force you to confront the parts of yourself you avoid. They expose your ego. They expose your insecurity. They expose your need for approval. They expose your fear of rejection. And if you are wise, you don't hate the test. You use the test because every test reveals what you still need to master. And mastery is the whole point. Most men think the goal is to win the woman, but that's the thinking of a desperate man. A strong man understands something else. The goal is not to win her. The goal is to become the kind of man who doesn't lose himself trying to keep anyone. Because if you lose yourself, you will lose her anyway. Even if she stays physically, she will leave emotionally. So the opportunity in these tests is not romance. It is evolution. It is growth. It is transformation. It is the development of inner authority. And once you develop inner authority, everything changes. You stop speaking to women from a place of need. You stop trying to prove yourself. You stop trying to convince them you're worthy. Instead, you speak from mathing certainty. You speak from calmness. You speak from grounded masculinity. And grounded masculinity is rare today because most men are either too aggressive or too weak. They are either controlling or begging. They are either arrogant or insecure. They are either cold or emotionally unstable. But the man who passes these tests becomes balanced, and he becomes disciplined but warm. He becomes confident but respectful. He becomes strong but emotionally intelligent. He becomes firm but not rigid. And when you become that man, you don't just attract younger women. You attract respect from everyone. Men respect you. Women admire you. Opportunities come to you. People listen when you speak, because people can sense a man who has mastered himself. And here's what most men don't understand. Women don't fall for perfection. Women fall for authenticity. They don't need a man who has never failed. They need a man who has faced failure and didn't break. They don't need a man who acts fearless. They need a man who feels fear but still stands tall. They don't need a man who always has answers. They need a man who has clarity even when he doesn't. So when she tests you, don't respond like a boy trying to impress. Respond like a man who has nothing to hide, a man who knows his weaknesses, a man who knows his values, a man who knows his direction, a man who knows that his worth is not negotiable. Because when you respond from truth, you create something that is stronger than attraction. You create trust, and trust is the rarest currency in the modern world. Money can be earned again. Status can be built again. Beauty fades. Charm expires. But trust, once established, becomes a foundation. And when a woman trusts you, she doesn't just want you. She respects you. She values you. She invests in you emotionally. She invests in you emotionally. And that is the real victory. So the next time a younger woman asks you a question that feels like a test, don't rush, don't panic, don't perform. Pause, breathe, and answer like a man who is already complete. Because those questions are not there to break you. They are there to reveal whether you have built a life that can hold weight. And if you have, you will not just pass her test, you will pass life's test.